through a few things what DQ Labs does as a whole, and subsequent to that, at about 3 p.m. we will have our professional designer. Like I'll let Umesh take over from there, and after that, at about 4:30 p.m., we would have the interaction with the faculty or the heads of Pearl Academy, who would be talking to you about the academic perspective. All right. So, looking forward to having you here and having a great session. Just to start off with us, a little bit about DQ Labs. Uh, a little bit about DQ Labs. Um, First thing I would like to see if all of you can hear me. Could you please type in the small chat window? Just type in yes. Okay, fantastic. I'm getting some yeses. Perfect. Um, right, so let's get into it. All right, so as DQ Labs, we have been transforming your hobby for art into a career way since we go back to 2006. And that's been an awesome journey for us over the last 12, 15 years. It's been beautiful, and we would like to share this with all of you what we have done. We nurture talent for creative careers, or now we're transitioning into nurturing talent for creativity. Um, and how we do that is we help you ideate. Okay, so all of us rather are all creative people, and we have these fabulous ideas in our head, but it's tough to put these fabulous ideas onto paper, right? So we help you transition this thought process, where through little exercises we help you develop a few things. So for example, over here, a small little logo is, hand sketches are developed into a logo, and that logo is taken into a professional context. And this is the thought process of design. All right. So design is a thought process, and I'll let the designers take you through this in a lot more detail. But just so you know, design could be anything. There's so many professions and careers related to design, and it could range through various industries. So you have architecture, you have general design where you design logos, graphics, all of that, UI, UX, and then you get into, of course, um, the fashion design aspect of things. So there's a huge areas where you can transition into. And a little bit about us and the founders of TQ Labs. Uh, we've been founded by Umesh and Sean, both designers from IIT Delhi. Umesh is an architect and a designer, and Sean is an engineer and a designer. Um, Umesh is a TEDx speaker. He's worked with Jaguar Land Rover in the UK. He's worked with Hyundai Motors in the US. And he's founded DQ Labs and Example EduTech. These both are into education, and they're passionate about teaching, educating people about design. And a little bit about Sean. Sean is also a designer from IIT Delhi, worked at General Motors across all their global range of products, so the Chevys, the Buicks, the Cadillacs, all of those, Hummers. And he too is the founder of both Example and DQ Labs, all right? Um, and as you can see, they are there to promote the love for design, okay? Um, right, so a little bit about Example. Example is a learning platform that we have developed, and Example has won the Design for India 2019 award. Uh, and it's a beautiful platform. It's amazing for those who are preparing for design. We have an opportunity for all of you to experience this. All right. Um, we are into these design research as well. The research that we have done is in the field of education and how learning design, or what you need to be taught, has to be learned effectively, right? So that's the area of research that we do. We presented our research and it's been very well received at SLDT, the Singapore Learning, Design and Technology Conference 2019 in Singapore. All right. Now, coming down to a little bit of what we do, and I was telling you that everyone here, absolutely everyone, can be creative, and everyone would love to turn their thoughts into sketches, and we're helping everyone do this for free. Okay, we're going to share this link with you during the webinar, and Umesh, if you can probably share this link right away so that people can register for this. It's absolutely free. It's 3 sessions for 45 minutes each day. And all of you who just want to learn sketching, please sign up, fill the form and join us. All right. Apart from this, every week we have a different industry professional coming up. Last week was Mr. Harsh Kamble, the head of Java Motorcycles. This year we have a fashion designer. Today we have a fashion designer, Vaishali S. She's got a brilliant story to tell all of you. She's been there at the New York Fashion Week. She's been all across India, and it is a beautiful session. Okay. We also have a session called E-Meet Your School. All this is free, by the way. So we have E-Meet Your School. Today we meet Pearl Academy's, the head of the fashion design department, the dean of the School of Fashion, Maurizio Grioli. We also have Prasanna Baruha, who heads the fashion design, HOD of fashion design. All right. Both of them are going to be talking to you as well today. Just for those who want to know a little more about what you could do, if you're between the ages of 12 to 20, just don't know what designers want to explore more, we could help you with that. Reach out to us. I'll share the numbers with you a little later. We have skill development programs, learning how to sketch, learning digital artwork, all of that. We do have entrance exam coaching as well, those who plan to get into NIDs, NIFTs, architecture schools. For those of you who are getting into portfolio, developing your portfolio, whether to get into college or to get into a professional company, we help you with that. Please do follow us on Instagram, on Facebook, and do give us a Google review. Just search for DQ Labs. I'm sorry, I put a very complex link here, but just search for us for DQ Labs and you will find us. We would love it if you follow us, and you will get a lot more updates from us. All right. So you need to reach out to us. Please connect with us on these numbers wherever you are: Bangalore, Pune, Chennai, Mangalore, Nagpur, Thrissur, Hyderabad, or if you're not in any of these places, we're online as well. All right. Thank you so much. And let me hand this over to Umesh. Right. I'm going to stop sharing my screen, Umesh. All right, we just have another 3-4 minutes before we can start. So, Umesh, are you there?
Yes. All right. So, welcome everybody. Let me just share my video and also screen. Yes, that's me. And let me just share my screen. Just wanted to update you on what we are trying to do here on a Sunday. All right. Okay. Fine. So, see, being in this, being a mentor and interacting with a lot of students and parents, we figured that a lot of creative people are finding it difficult to find a way forward, right? So we we are trying to bridge that need of trying to figure out what you can do with your passion of art or creativity and how you can convert that into a creative profession by connecting you guys with the celebrated design professionals and also the professors of prominent design institutes. So we have started this uh, industry e-meet since last 2 Sundays. We had architect Vijaya Bhargav for the first meet, and we had Harsh Kamble, the head designer of Java Motors, the last Sunday. And today we have Vaishali S, a celebrated fashion designer with us, right? So we are planning to do this every Sunday. Why Sundays is because that is the only time probably we can get these busy professionals, okay, and have a one-to-one with all of you guys, right? And Sunday everybody is at home and we can all easily attend these from our home, right? So this is a free event, and today, as I said, we have Vaishali S, a fashion designer, and also we have Maurizio G, a fashion designer and also Dean of Pearl School of Design for Fashion Design. And also we have Mr. Prasanna, who is the HOD of the Fashion Design Department. All right. So before I introduce Vaishali S, I would like to showcase a small work of hers, a recent work of hers, a fashion show at New York Fashion Week. All right. So Prasanna, I'll stop sharing my screen so that you can share your screen. Yeah.
Sure.
So could you please have a small bit of the fashion show, please? All right. So, what do you guys think of the presentation, the fashion show? Yeah, you can write your comments. Fabulous, isn't it? Amazing, isn't it? What if I have to tell you that the person who has designed all those garments is is from a small town in India, right? So, isn't that great how a small girl from a little town, a remote town in India, has reached to a level where she is exhibiting her work all across the world, right? So that is Vaishali S. And I'm excited and pleased to introduce you all to Vaishali, right? Vaishali, are you here? So can you please unmute your
Yes,
mic?
I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm very much here. Good afternoon, everyone. And I'm happy to share my journey from Vidisha to Bhopal to Mumbai to New York to Milan. And I come from a very small town in the very center of India. And this town and its rurality has given me uh, grounded stuff, and I have learned a way of life from my town, and I have learned how to live in a sustainable way. Like I have learned skills and processes behind the product. And of course, the journey was not very easy, but when I was doing my things, it was like just I follow the flow of the life or energy, whatever was coming uh, in my way, I was just following that. And of course, Vidisha is a very small town and we have limitations. And I was always wanted to do something different, but that time there were no exposure of anything. Even that time we used to know only engineering and medical. So I have chosen computer science and I have done my graduation in computer science. After that, of course, I came to Bhopal, and then I've done many odd jobs. And during my odd jobs, I got exposure of like fashion or design that exists also, because for me it was just because my father, he is an artist, so I always saw like art in my house, but I was never uh, I was not aware of like fashion and design. So during my jobs, I used to suggest people for their styling and how to wear clothes and how to make new dresses. But I was not aware like in which direction I am going. So now I think when you decide you want to do something different, I think universe guides you, and that's how someone told me you should do fashion designing. And of course, with help, uh, I have joined one small institute in Bhopal. Um and unfortunately, it was just for 3 days because that time money was the big issue. I was I was struggling for my survival. So definitely it was not possible to pay fees for a fashion institute. So but in those 3 days, I have realized, oh, this is the thing I want to do, because before this, I was verbally suggesting people, you should wear this, you should wear that. But now I've got the expression, I've got the medium, and in my odd jobs only, I've started doing this. I've started sketching. Though sketching was good because of maybe my parents. I've got that skill from my parents. But I've got that skill from that institute in 3 days, and I got excited about that. And I've started drawing, and I've started showcasing, showing people, uh, you should wear like this. And then I have realized I'm really enjoying, and this is not work for me. This is like uh, it's passion, or it's something like I'm really enjoying. And then I've started searching things in that direction. Um I took out syllabus from one of the best school from Bhopal, and I've done my study myself at home. Um it was like the whole process was so interesting, just because I wanted to do something in fashion designing. I've learned, I've made my portfolios, everything, because I was not able to pay the fees, so I thought I should learn before doing anything. So I've done my study at home, and then I've started searching for jobs in design, in fashion design. And somehow I've got very small job in Baroda, because before we used to see jobs in newspapers. So I've started doing that, and I've got very just like one job was for fashion, and I thought, okay, I want to try for this. Though I was not confident, I was not a very good I was not good in talking. Even language was the very big issue for me. But little bit of courage, and I went to Baroda. I've joined that institute. It was really tough for me to teach, because uh, all the complexes when you come from the small town. But somehow I managed there for 6 months, and then I've got the opportunity, and I came to Bombay. Uh, and so many people liked my work. And then finally, I've started my journey in fashion and design. I've got very good job in one of good export house in Bombay, but no one was aware I'm not a form, like I haven't done study in the fashion, but successfully I've done that job. And then somehow, like, of course, it's life. You go with like a lot of ups and downs, and then again I've lost that job, and somehow uh, because of my health issues, I have joined one gym, because I was aware of few uh, exercises and all. So again, the next step was the gym. Why I'm talking about that gym? From there, I used to take my portfolios and all of my like work, and I used to show all like whoever was coming there. And one person, she was very impressed with my work, and she offered me 50,000 loan from the bank. With that 50,000, I've started my small boutique in Malad, in suburbs of Bombay. That was the start. And of course, for me, starting something new, no clue how to do, just like that, self study. But then I've thought, because of course, emotions are very powerful, especially with the Indians. Then I thought, from where to start. So of course, very close relationship is mother. And then I thought about mother's sari, which was very close to my heart. And that's how I've got I've seen first weave of India, that was Chanderi. And Chanderi was like very close to my town. And when I saw that fabric, and when I thought about that fabric, and I saw it's hand woven, so I got amazed, and I wanted to learn more about the fabric. Like, what is this? That's how I went to Chanderi, and I've started exploring the Chanderi weave. And it was so amazing, it was so inspiring for me, how those weavers, I think they have never learned anything, they have never studied. And for them, everything was that weaving. And not knowing anything geometrical or anything, but how they tie those 10,000 threads to that loom, they prepare that loom in 10 days, and then they make the fabric. I was just looking at that weaver and that loom, and I saw he's doing something with those 10, 15,000 thread, and fabric is coming out. And you see the geometry of those design, those booties, those threads and everything. And that was so amazing for me, that was so inspiring for me. So that's how I started exploring different villages. I thought, if one village can have such beautiful weave fabric, then how many villages, how many weaves, how many craft we have. So I've started traveling, I've started exploring these villages and these weaves, though I was not aware about even India map, because when I was in Vidisha, I was aware about only 2 or 3 cities. But because I wanted to explore, and I think that became my passion. And I've started traveling randomly for these weaves. Chanderi, then Maheshwar, then Maharashtra, Pathan, Karnataka, Assam, Northeast. So many places I've explored without any research, because I believe, I think process is the very important. That journey is very important. So I've learned from my journey. I've learned from that processes. Uh, yeah. So of course, I think this Indian weaves and craft has given me so much. And I believe this like, I can't even explore these things in my one life. And of course, then I've started this small boutique. From one boutique to 3 shops, it was successful journey for me. And then, of course, I was somewhere I was feeling incomplete because I've never done study in fashion. I've decided to join Paul Academy after my 11 years of experience running these shops. And that was like, of course, it was a big adventure for me, um, because running 3 shops, 45 people were working under my label. uh, my daughter, she was very like, she was 1.5 year old, and it was a very tough decision to go for study. And I was living in Bombay and Paul was in Delhi, so I used to travel every week for my study. But of course, Paul has given me so much. I think it was the takeoff for me uh, in the industry, because after Paul Academy, I've got the confidence, I've got the confirmation, maybe I would say, uh, what I was doing it was correct. And I've got so much knowledge, and still I thank uh, to everyone in Paul Academy. And of course, I was not a very good student, but I think I've learned so much. And after that, I've started showcasing in Fashion Week. But I've always believed in uh, my process, my philosophy, my learning from my town. And that's how I was just following my intuitions. I was following my heart, and I was just doing. I've started uh, showcasing in Fashion Week was uh, not the aim for the glamour or something. Just I wanted to showcase these weave, and I thought fashion, through fashion, I thought I can express myself better with this medium, and I can take these weaves at the international platform. I think that was the reason, and I've started showcasing in Fashion Weeks. Though I was not very confident, again I was not very good in my language, but I was very confident about what I was doing. And I thought I can't talk much, but I can show what I can do with these weaves. And I've always believed, and I was always amazed how these weavers are working and doing things. So yeah, this was like amazing journey. And then after India, I of course, aim was the uh, international platform to showcase these weaves, because I believe, I think we have so much in India. I think no other country has all these things like these weaves and crafts. And then I've started showcasing in New York Fashion Week in 2015. I just went to New York. I've showcased, before showcasing in Fashion Week, I've showcased my collection in um, few trade shows and private shows. And then definitely it was an amazing experience. How people love what we have, we should feel proud about that. And I always, I will, and of course, when I went to New York, I've learned about business, numbers, how to deal with people, because I was always in creative process, and I was always in my design process. I've never thought business and numbers and these things and dealings are so important for the fashion designing. And of course, when I was learning in Pearl, uh, I think these technical skills and tools and everything was very difficult for me. But I was I wanted to learn, and it was very difficult part for me, because maybe I was coming from the small town. And um, But yeah, I understand the technical skills and tools are very important, but I always felt like it should not overpower you. I think you should always see what you have within. I think that's strong, you know, that's very powerful. If you can see what you have inside, then you can do anything. These tools, these technical skills, you should use only as a tool. Because I'm, why I'm saying this, because nowadays everyone, we are depending on technical skills, technical tools, and internet and Google. I don't think so. I've never believed on this. If I think we should use what we have inside. Then only you can create real, original things. And I think nature is the biggest inspiration, biggest teacher. If you want to learn design, I think you should follow the flow of the nature and energy. Then only you can create real things. And I think for me it's a biggest inspiration in my collection. You can see everywhere, you will see the texture of the nature, flow of the nature in drapings and whatever techniques I use in my collection. So again, and I think this is the time to observe and see and listen how nature is teaching, you know. Um it's very powerful, it's very strong. You can learn a lesson of life, design, or anything if you can, if you can learn the you can learn, follow the nature and flow. Yeah, thank you so much.
All right, Vaishali, that is a very inspiring journey, and um, very good to know how you have managed so many things, right? So when you are having a business, you took time off and you have studied the program, and it has. I hope it has tremendously helped you, right, to go forward.
Definitely. And after, you know, after opening my 3 store and big store in Juhu, after that also I've realized I want to go for higher studies. And then I went to Milan for my master's.
Mhm.
And that was also big learning, you know, in different ways. I think study is very, very important. It gives you very different dimension, perspective, and direction, everything. So after doing so much, after doing fashion weeks, running my business for so many years, but I was still feeling I need more. And then I went to Milan for my higher studies.
Um, do you want to talk something about the process you follow? Because you spoke about a design process, Vaishali. Do you want to talk something about the process, or how do you go about doing what you're doing? Because it's so successful, and maybe it would help people who are listening to you.
Yeah, I think again, as I was talking about the nature, and I was talking about the flow of the nature and energy. I think if you can see the complete life of the tree, how we even like the seed and how seed grows and how tree grows. I think I follow that cycle with my process also. And plus again, I will say I've learned so much from my weavers, you know, how they start. We see only that piece of cloth, we don't see how they tie 10,000 knots. So I start my process with my thread. I choose my own thread before weaving my fabric with my weavers. I choose even the flow of the fabric before weaving the fabric. And of course, for me, uh, I don't follow rules. I don't know it's right or wrong. I don't follow rules. I go with the flow always. And uh, of course, after thread, I weave my fabric. And then inspiration for me is always nature. I follow the flow of the nature. And then I try, in my whole process, I try to not to waste anything, because I follow the zero waste technique in my process and my garment. So after making fabric, it's, you know, it's not always, it's very different for me. It's not the one step by step, like after this I will do this thing. But as I said it, I follow the flow of the nature. Sometimes maybe I will take an inspiration from the nature and I'll sketch. But sometimes I will just pick up the fabric and I will start draping, because something is there in my mind. And you know, when you want to create something, or you are creating something, that time is, we enjoy so much. And if you are really in that creative process, it's not the steps you follow, you just want to do it. So yeah, of course, for me, sometimes is a sketching, sometimes is the draping, and that's the process for me. Of course, you know, and another thing is, I want to say, it's good to follow trend and forecast. It's very important. But again, again, I don't follow trends and forecasts, because I still feel if you are connected with yourself, if you are connected with the nature, then I think you can create. Example is our weavers again, how they create so beautiful design, beautiful fabric, because they are connected with the nature. They don't follow any process or any trend forecast or anything. But I think they are very well connected with the nature and the uh, themselves.
Thank you for answering that, Vaishali. Given today's time, when the world is going through this flux and things seem to be so uncertain, and you spoke about being sustainable as a designer, do you want to elaborate on your take on sustainability, and how is it going to be in the future for designers? Just so that we have
Uh,
young audience, and maybe they just need to see what
Yes, I think
sustainability
this
is.
is very interesting for me, because you know, we don't have to do anything special. We have to just go back to the roots, how we were in India. It was way of life in India. Nothing was different, you know, from kitchen to from garments to from everything. If we will observe how we were in India, the whole story was all about like sustainability. Even in the kitchen it was zero waste. Even like how we used to garment, you know, we will wear garment or dress. If it's new, we will go outside, we will wear it. If we will get old, then we will wear it at home. If we will see, okay, somewhere is like tearing or something is happening, maybe we will use that for sleep, or maybe after that even we will use for cleaning or something like that. You know, this this whole process was like there. So for me, because I've always followed this thing, because I come from that area of India where I've seen all these processes. So when I've started my label also, I was very conscious about everything. And especially when I went to the weavers, I saw how they live, how they weave, and how like one piece of fabric, like 1 meter fabric, they take at least 2 weeks and 3 weeks. So we can't waste that fabric if we are using this, because so much energy they are putting into that fabrics. So whole idea for Vaishali S was like, I was not, honestly, this sustainability word was not there anywhere. It was just the I think way it I always felt like it should be like that. Even for now, nature is giving us so like so strong indications. So I think it should be like this. It should be like mandatory, you know. And we should keep 50% wardrobe with only natural fibers or natural like hand woven fabric garments. I think it should be mandatory, because otherwise we are not understanding. And even even we are not understanding the importance of these uh, weaves and crafts which we have. uh, I think this is a very big treasure. And if we talk about the sustainability for design and fashion, I think this should be the uh, we should start from here, you know, because we are so lucky. Like the fashion is a very strong expression. We can change. I think we can change so much with the fashion. I think designers can change so much. If and first thing, if we are talking about sustainability, if we are talking about ecosystem or cycle, I think my advice for young designer, they should start from themselves. They should start doing things what they are talking. If we are talking about like uh, saving the weave, or if we are talking about the weavers and natural fibers, I think we should be the one start doing that.
All right. Some
Vaishali,
question. Yeah, there's some
Vaishali, this
question.
is Prasanna. I have a question for you.
Yeah, Basma.
I'm sorry to interrupt. You are one of the designers who worked very closely with Indian weavers, and that you are mentioning again and again in your presentation. You have explored from South, North to Northeast India.
Mm-hmm.
So what is the suggestion for all the upcoming new designers? How it is important for a fashion designer from Indian context to take Indian craft, Indian weave, when they're trying to take the international market?
I think this is the high time, you know, we should, because whole world is looking for this thing. And handmade and weavers is the future of the fashion, I believe. And if I think main thing is like, because we always, when we think about fashion, we always follow west blindly. I think now this is the time. And of course already we are getting there, you know. A lot of people are working with hand woven techniques, and a lot of designers are working with hand woven techniques. So first thing, why we should look into these things, because so much learning, you know, whole process. We struggle to learn design process. If we go to these weavers and villages, I think this is the simplest way to learn design process, to create real things, you know. And I think this main thing is we have so many variety, not only weaves. We have silhouettes, we have uh, colors, we have traditions, we have uh, culture, and so many things which I don't think so any other country has. And other thing is you know, we, because fashion, and we follow for fashion we follow the west. I think we never realized we are the most fashionable people. In India, we have so many variation of silhouettes. You know, I'm not comparing anything with anyone, but if you go to the villages, you will see many variation of drapes. You know, many kind of dhotis, many kind of saris, tops, and dresses and everything. You know, so much to take the inspiration. Forget about female. You know, if you look at the men, if you see the history of the if you see the Indian costume history, even men, they used to dress up like from top to bottom. And it's not about just dressing, it's about detailing, you know, what they are wearing in toe, what they are wearing in their turban, for the uh, everything, for the accessories. So I think this is the, it's easiest way to take this forward, and learn design and craft. It's very easy. If you go to the villages, we have so many villages, and we have 5 kilometers. We have different tradition, we have different culture, we have different language, colors, weaves, fabric, and everything. So I think this is the right reason to start with this.
Fantastic. I think that's amazing that you're seeing a future in weavers, and that is something that we really overlook very often. Okay, and we don't associate weavers being with international fashion, working with international fashion designers. So That's amazing that you give them so much of importance. I think that's very inspirational.
One more point I want to add, these weavers, it can become a global language, they have that kind of potential. They have that kind of potential, and in weaves, we can speak globally, because they don't have a variation of the fabrics what we have. I think they have synthetic fabrics, and very few varieties are available there in international markets. So I think for students, my advice is like choose one beef. I think go deep into the detail, and fall in love with specific weave and speak global language with that. I think that's powerful. Not taking inspiration what we don't know. Our roots are not there. I think when you look back to your roots and take inspiration from that, I think whole world will talk about that thing. So yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. All right. There's a very
So,
interesting
Dion, I have a
question
small
here.
question for Vaishali.
Yeah.
Sorry, Dion.
Go
Yeah.
ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. Vaishali, it will be quite interesting if you can take up one work of yours and help us walk through how the weave has been translated into a garment. Like, if you can take an example, like on your website, you have very good work that you have showcased. You can take any one of the works and help us understand how you're translating that weave into a fashion garment.
Okay. uh, I can talk about here. I'm sorry, I don't have any video with me right now. But recently, I think people will know. I will explain the one story of the very small village. Uh, it's Gored Gudda in Karnataka. So I just saw the blouse of that Khand weave. These vegetable vendors and these females, they wear these blouses, and it was so attractive for me, and I thought, why this like only blouse? And I've started my journey with Khand from there. And I was not aware about Khand at all. I was not aware about like from where it's coming. Even that village was not in the Google map. Someone told me go to Pune. I went to Pune. Someone told me go to Solapur, Kolhapur, and so on. Like I've traveled for 2 days by road to find this village and this weave. So this is the starting point with every weave for me. That's how I've reached Goed Gudda and I found Khand. And I've started working with that. And for, Khand is famous for poor people. So even Karnataka also, people don't want to wear Khand because it's related to poverty. But that that weave has, like, it's really rich. And then after that, I took that weave. I've done little changes, of course, for quality and color and everything. And I took that weave to New York Fashion Week. Now suddenly that weave became like very modern fabric. Everyone is wearing jackets, Khand jackets in New York. So I think this is the process. And if we can see my recent New York Fashion Week collection, you will see the Khand on the RAM.
All right. Can you please give me a link for the work, New York Fashion Week
Yeah,
work of yours?
Prasanna, I think you have my latest New York show. If we can see that, so
Stop sharing.
I can explain the Khand weave.
Correct. I'm connecting. Yeah, give me a second.
Sure. Thank you. So this is what Shorts model is wearing. It's a khand weave, where in India we see only blouses of these fabrics, this weave. Even these modern fabrics, it's all are very desi weaves from villages. I've used Chanderi, I have used Maheshwari, I have used Kota Doria from Rajasthan, and I have used Kesa part from Assam. So this is the beauty of Indian weaves, you know, the transparency, the flow. You can mold, like you can do anything with these weaves. This is the Khan again model is wearing. So I have
That is,
converted
that,
these weaves in modern silhouettes. Again, this model is wearing its Khan weave. You can see beautiful jumpsuit and Khan. I think everyone can go to my Instagram handle and see the processes behind all my collections, and they can see how I work with weavers. Uh, it's not easy to get these fabrics, and it's really hard work behind these fabrics because sometimes they don't have even proper light also to tie those 10,000 knots. We can't even see like without glasses or something, but they are so expert in that they can weave this fabric in one single like single bulb also. So I live there when I create my samples. I live with them. I live their lifestyle when I create my samples. I think a lot of inspiration comes from their lifestyle also. It's so much learning when you live with the weavers. Because I think best, if you want to see the sustainable life, you have to go back to the villages. What world is talking about right now. I think real sustainability is there in still there in our villages. This is also khand. It's beautiful green khand. I've mixed with chanderi weave. This is also khand weave. I've created modern silhouette, modern jacket for global market. It's very interesting. When I've started showcasing weaves, that time I think fashion industry was not ready to welcome for this because we always connected weaves with uh, we can't wear in parties. It's not glamorous. Only social workers can wear weaves or khadi. So but I've always believe and I've always seen the potential in these weaves, and of course first collection was very big hit and everyone was talking about, but no one wanted to buy that collection because for them it was not a cool thing, like it was not a fashionable thing. But I believed and I was stick to my passion, and one after other I've started searching weaves and I've showcased different collections with the different weaves. And here I think world is talking about Indian weaves and craft. So again we should follow our passion and what we want to do. And of course I'm not saying if I'm not saying we should wear sari always, because I think we are evolving. So initially we started wearing clothes like just with piece of fabric, then draping, then stitching came, and that's how we evolved. So we can't expect to a young generation they should wear traditional wear what we have in RVs. That's why I'm creating these modern silhouettes and modern garment for the global market. And in US and Europe, I think mostly I have young generation. Uh, uh, these people are buying from Vaishali S.
That's very interesting. Could you throw some light on how much effort and time goes into creating each of these masterpieces?
I think whole process I take 4 to 6 months because I start with my thread weave fabric. So of course it takes 4 to 6 months if you are working with uh, weaves and hand woven fabric. You have to be like well prepared in advance for the production also.
That's very interesting.
And even in my collection, I want to say like I never followed the rule because uh, and I will suggest everyone like especially new like young designers and students, I think we should make our own path. It's of course for knowledge and for everything is very good to follow what is there, but if you want to reach somewhere you have to follow your path and you have to make rule for yourself.
Vaishali, I would like to take a few questions from the audience. Okay. So, Divya Kabilan is asking, okay, how did you make your entry into New York? What was the break? Did you get into that?
I think
Umesh,
your
you
voice.
went blank in between.
Hello.
How is it? All right.
Yeah.
So the question is,
Mhm.
how did you make your entry into New York Fashion Week? How did
Um,
you break?
Of course, I was traveling to New York. I've started with few shows before Fashion Week, and I was trying to search right platform to showcase my collections. And because I have done Fashion Weeks in India, and I thought, of course, definitely this is the right platform for me, New York Fashion Week. And it was not easy because everyone was saying. Very difficult, but I always think like just do it, and no is always there, but when you do something you will open some door. So that's how I applied and I approached to CFDA in New York, and somehow I've got the mail from them and I've sent and then I've got the invitation, of course, for emerging category because I have done many shows in India, but for them I was a new brand. So I've started with emerging show, and then of course after few showcase, I've got an established category.
Okay. So, so Devia is a fashion student and she's asking, okay, so would you recommend to showcase in the big fashion shows as a starter for aspiring or upcoming fashion designers?
I would suggest, first you should try and you should do enough before showcasing, because showcasing in big show is definitely is a big expense also, and you have to recover your cost and you have to get your buyers and before. So my suggestion is before showcasing, you should do few things, to showcase your collection, make your clientele, make your presence in the market, then I think my suggestion, you should showcase in fashion shows. Anyways, now I think it's a different scenario. We don't know the shows, when shows will happen. So yes.
Yeah. So post-COVID, how do you think the fashion would evolve?
Especially for India, we are still, fashion is new for us. It's maybe only 10 years we are learning about this word. So very conscious what we are doing. We have to be very careful because I'm not saying people will not buy, but my thought is like people will go on basic, go back to the basic. This is the time, at least for a few months. Though I think we can't say anything. This is the time I think nature is trying to say, just listen and observe. Don't give your suggestion. Don't talk about this. Just follow what I think, just follow the flow and the energy. I don't think so we have any solution. We can just talk about this and we can say, but the situation is saying everyone is sitting at home. We don't have power. So nature is so powerful, we can't say what nature will do in next few months. Yeah, but of course, strategy should be like, of course, we have to go back to this sustainable fashion trend, minimum waste, and product should be very carefully made, because if people are buying, they should see the purpose and the worth of that product.
Right. So Shilpa Tana is asking how to restart after a long break for housewives. Somebody who is a housewife interested in fashion design. How do they start?
I think just start. Just whatever thoughts you have in your mind, and go with that and do it. You can join online course. You can go to the school if it's possible, or if you want to do without study, you have confidence. I can do without study. You can start with small things. I think follow your intuition. If you really think you want to do it after the long break, follow your intuition, what your heart is saying, and just do it.
Right. So right. Jiva Pragati is asking, okay, how did you feel when you showcased your work in front of a crowd? What was your mindset? What was the crowd's reaction?
Honestly, when I go on the ramp, I don't see anyone. So it was always like that. I don't see anything. But of course, it's always, I think I'm nervous when I go to the crowd and I go front of a lot of people. Yeah,
Hmm.
you're always in that thing. What will be the response?
Right. So Madhura is asking, dear ma'am, will you recommend fashion in leather technology for the students of this generation? If yes, what would be the benefits?
See, I really follow the cycle of the nature, flow of the nature. So I think I I will not. I'm sorry, I can't give suggestion on this, because I've never worked with leather, because I'm always in this cycle, natural fibers, and we should not kill anything, and because whole cycle is depending on everything. So I'm sorry, I can't give suggestion on this leather.
Okay. So it's more of a personal preference and
Yeah, it's more of a
personal
personal preference, if you want to go with that.
yes.
Those opportunities are there, and a lot of Yeah, a lot of things are there to work with leather.
Hmm. So Divanshi Goyal is asking, what was fashion and design for you when you were young artist? Like when you were young?
Uh, Actually, as I said, you know, fashion and design was not there for me when I like it was not there. I was not aware about this word fashion and design. It was just I was going with the flow, and I stumbled upon fashion, and I've learned about fashion and design. So for me, fashion was the best medium to express my thoughts because I was not good in speaking. Still, I'm not good in my expression and speaking. And this was like, I found this is the medium I can express my creativity, my thought, what I think, what I feel. And this was the best platform for me to express myself.
There are various ways of hands-on, and and you're expressing your thoughts physically onto the models.
Sorry, your voice is breaking, so I could not.
I'm sorry. I hope I'm audible now.
Yeah, better.
Yeah. So there are different ways of communications, right? So some people write, some people sketch, some people use 3D models to create, and
Yeah,
you are using the weaves and fabric to express your thoughts
yeah.
in a physical world, right? So that's pretty cool to know. It's a different way of working. Okay, that's pretty good. In fact, I know of a automotive designer
Mm-hmm.
who does all his uh, creative expressions using a CAD model. He's not good in his sketching, but
Mm-hmm.
he does fantastic 3D models and expresses his ideas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think
Right?
you know this is the one thing I want to say. You know, we are not perfect. We all are not perfect because it's a lot of time we think we don't have this, so we can't do this. I think if you have
Mhm.
one thing also in like if you're confident about one thing, okay, I can create. Then I don't think so. Anything matters. You know, you that can be your language.
Right, right.
So this is in, I think, yeah, this is for everything.
Yeah, and it's pretty cool. So because you're actually working hands-on with the fabric, you
Mm-hmm.
know, so it's not like you're sketching something and you're creating something else. There's no mismatch of
Mm-hmm.
what you're drawing and what you're creating, right? So many
Yeah.
times it happens that you're working hands-on and whatever problems you are facing, you are trying to find solutions and solve there and then, right?
True.
That's
True.
pretty cool.
Mhm.
So, would you generally collaborate students, or do you take any interns or for your design? I mean, how do you work? What does your team constitute of?
Of course, we hire interns. We take interns from different colleges, and team is of course I have my merchandisers, design team, marketing, and business. Yeah, so in different department we have different people, and designing of course I handle, but for so many things it's not only about design. If you are talking about fashion design, it's about everything. I think when you work practically, when you go to the industry, it's I think designing part is just, I feel it's 10%. You know, you have to know other things also. Then only you can keep your team also with you.
Right,
So
right. Pretty cool. Yeah. He wants to approach for internship or something like that. How can they approach you? So, Divya,
your voice is really breaking,
probably
so I can't.
mine. Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay, hope am I audible now?
Now it's better. Yes.
Yeah. So if a student wants to approach you for getting an internship or an opportunity to work with you, how can they do that?
I think on my social handles, we have our mail IDs and they can apply. They can send their resume on my official mail ID. They can inbox me on Instagram. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, do you have any role model?
Uh, Role model. Uh,
Yeah,
Not really. I am always like with the nature. So I think I will say the role model is the nature because
right.
I'm always synced with that and I see, I learn uh, so much from the nature.
Yeah. So, as you're owning a brand, as a brand owner, what are the constraints you feel? Like you have some creative thoughts,
Sorry,
or
again, your voice.
oh, I'm so sorry. Can right? Okay, so I hope I'm audible now.
Better, yes.
Yeah. So, as a brand owner, what are
Mm-hmm.
your challenges in terms of and the business part of it?
Sorry, again, main thing I missed what you were saying.
All
Challenging business side.
all right. So let me repeat. Okay. So what I was asking is, as a brand owner,
Mm-hmm.
oh, as a brand owner, what are your challenges in terms of managing your creative imagination and the business?
Yeah, I think this is very good question because when you start, this is the biggest challenge. Because in my case, it was very different because I've started with the practical thing. I've started my own boutique and I've learned from all my karigars and weavers. But it's of course challenging when you create something and when you go to our karigars and masters, they will say first thing it's not possible. So that was the first step. Uh, you have to be with that. This will happen with us. So that was the challenging part. And for me, initially it was not. I was not doing this as a business model or I want
Mhm.
to make a big brand or something like that. I was in the process that time. So whatever was coming on my way, I think I was treating that thing as a learning. For me, those challenges was learning because uh, I have created this brand, doing things, doing mistakes, doing experiments. So I think for me, it was each step was a challenge and learning together. So of course, when you create something very different. First, like if you go to the workshop and masters and karigar, they will reject first. Then you have to know how to communicate and how to convince them to make these things. And
Right.
after that, when of course if you are making something, you are making for the market. Then second challenge is because it's different, no one has seen that. So uh, educating people or explaining things to the market and client, I think that is second challenge. But I always, again, I still feel if you believe in your product, I think people will wear, people will buy, and everything will happen. So I think these are the main two challenges. And
Right.
of course then marketing part, which I think after a long time, now actually now I am understanding the importance of marketing, and you have to market your product and brand to sell your product. So I think that is also, that was biggest challenge for me because I come from different roots. I've always learned, maybe it's very old school thing, but I have always learned if you will do something very good, you don't have to say uh, like about your things. You don't have to talk about yourself. So I always believed in that. If I'm doing something very good, I think people will buy. So this whole marketing thing was very new for me, like talking about your thing, yourself. It was not in my uh, uh, learning. I've never learned, I have to talk about myself and my product and my things, what I'm doing is very good. So this was the biggest challenge for Vaishali.
Right. I think this is one of the challenges for all the creative professionals because we believe our work
Yes, I agree.
should give us the recognition and all that, but the market reality is we have to promote ourselves, and that's a skill.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So, Isha Rastogi, a student, is asking, what should one do after graduation to grow in this fashion industry? What should be their approach?
After graduation, I think they should learn from the industry. They should go and take an experience from the industry if it's possible. I think before doing anything, before jumping, because now we have so many facilities. You know, you can do if you're doing a course, you can go for an internship. After your graduation, you can work for 2 3 years. You can learn from the industry, and then you can start with your own things. I think it's easiest, you know. Otherwise, different ways. I think different people do different things. Some people prefer to do experiments and learn from that, but it's again in that situation you will spend money, you will do the losses, you will do other things. But if you have facility to go to the industry and work under some designer or some design house, I think that's a good thing to do before doing anything your own.
Right. So we all know that you take inspiration from nature, okay? But when you hit a creative block, how do you overcome it?
Sorry, I didn't get you. Sorry.
Right. So you take inspiration from nature, and when you're working on your designs, if you hit a creative block,
Mm-hmm.
how would you?
Vaishali, he's asking if you have a creative block or
Mm-hmm.
design block, in between, how you
Mm-hmm.
overcome? How do you
Yeah.
challenge yourself?
I think for designers, I think this is the biggest thing because you can't just create. You know, you have to go. You have to be in that zone, and I think the design block comes, but I think it goes because again everything is changing. So you have to just be patient. In my case, I do this. You have to be patient because I know it will come back because it's there in the root, so it will not go. So I'm always patient. I keep I keep calm and I wait for that block will go away.
Right, right.
And I think in my case, for this thing, going inside, it helps. And for me, I will suggest all creative people, I think knowing yourself, knowing meditation, it helps because I think all the creative things come from within. And these design block also, if you will connect yourself again uh, uh, within like yourself, then definitely this is not the hurdle or this is not the yeah.
Yeah. And I see that you are a strong believer, right? So in what, right? So that's
I can't hear you. Sorry.
because that conveys if you want to achieve something. All right. Okay. Um, so let me ask a second, another question. Okay. So how did you start designing for celebrities?
Um, I think it's when you. I think Fashion Week is a big platform for everyone. Definitely, after showcasing in Fashion Week, you everyone knows about your brand, and celebrity they see their stylist, they see your collection and uh, everything, and they approach you for everything. That's how I've created garments for them.
All right. Being visible is part of a fashion did. So I'm saying that being visible
Mm-hmm.
for the celebrities and for the media
Mm-hmm.
as work we are crucial in good works.
I'm sorry, your voice is breaking. I am not able to listen complete question.
Sorry, this
I'm
time I'm also unable to understand.
yeah. All right. So I hope I'm audible now. Okay.
Yeah.
I think I'm having a bad internet connection. I'm so
Mhm.
sorry for that. So for the creative professionals,
Mhm.
being visible in the market, in the industry is very crucial to land good opportunities. That is how I believe a lot of people can get uh, work opportunities from celebrities and HNIs and all that, isn't it?
See, that's true. In I think again, everyone has like different ways, to work. For some people, this works like this kind of exposure. Celebrities are wearing outfit and you can sell. But I always believe, it should not be the criteria because I think I'm sure in India is it's people like celebrity inspires a lot of people to wear those kind of thing what they are wearing, but according to me it's not, you're just following blindly what other people are wearing. So for me, fashion, again, this is my personal thought and my suggestion. I think we should not follow fashion blindly. Fashion is like if example, if some celebrity is wearing something and you are liking, oh, this is very beautiful, and you will buy, you will order online, and then that outfit is coming, you are wearing also, but you are not comfortable and you are not able to carry that garment, then it's like a disaster for you, you know. So yeah, for me it's like a different uh, thing. Maybe I don't know. I understand. Maybe I didn't understand your question.
No, that was a good answer. Shivani is asking, what is your thought that is evolving in future fashion? Will this affect the handmade garments?
Pardon. Can you repeat again?
So, what is your thought on technology that is evolving in future fashion? Will
Mhm.
this affect the handmade garments?
Vaishali, should I repeat it or you
No,
got it?
I got it. As I told before, all it's our hand. Still, it's our in our hand because we should use technology only as a tool, and
Hmm.
of course it's very dominating right now, technology and internet and everything,
Hmm.
but still powerful is like what you have in yourself. Still this is the I think this is the right time to think about these things because the whole situation is saying something else because we were running we were running for everything, and I think the technology is good for us, but we need to learn and we need to understand the balance between the technology and what we have. Technology should not overpower us. I think we should learn how to deal with, how to tackle with technology, and this is not the future. If we will deduct like what we have, we will uh, remove from this, and if only technology is there, I don't think so it will be uh, a successful thing.
Hmm. Right. So
Because
when you're creating, I'm sorry.
sorry.
I'm sorry. Please continue. Please
No,
continue.
because everything is human power. This will survive always. If technology will overpower us, I don't think so we can survive. So if we want to survive, we need to learn now, like how to deal with these tools and technology.
Right. So one participant is asking if when you're creating a brand,
Mhm.
what do you keep in your mind? How should one create a brand?
I think in the current situation, first you should think about the need. What is the need in the market? And then, of course, you have something, you have some, uh, uh, like if you have some special thing, some passion, you are passionate about anything. With those combination, you should start the brand. And yes.
Right. So Mansi is asking, ma'am, what are your expectations from the interns who come for interviews with you?
I could not hear your question completely.
All right, no problem. Um, Mansi is asking, what are your expectations from the interns who come for the interviews?
Of course, I think one of the important thing they should, because interns, they come with their mindset, I want to do this. My advice is like they should be open for everything, because this is the internship. You are coming for learning, so I expect they should be open for everything, all kind of learning. If someone is coming from fashion designing thing, they will like, they expect like we will only do the sketching and design part. So my thing is like, you have to learn everything, you should learn everything, and you should keep yourself open for learnings.
Right. So, is there any advice for the aspiring designers?
Yeah, of course. How I said before, also, I think technology and tools are very important. But I think most important thing, if you want to do something different, if you want to create, uh, and you really want to design something, go within and see your strength, what you have, instead of looking outside, instead of looking for an inspiration on the internet or Google. I think you are very strong. I think if you can see inside, I think Google will not work. You will not understand universe looking at the Google, but you can understand the universe if you will look into yourself within, and follow your intuitions, follow your heart, and follow your passion. I think that will lead you towards success.
And any advice to the parents whose children are showing interest in fashion design?
Of course, yes. For parents, because now I have daughter. So what in especially in India, what we do, we put so much into uh, in like children, whatever, like in their minds. So they are not able to think, what they want to do. So I think give them freedom to think what they want to do. So then only they can grow. And so much pressure about uh, do best, you should be the best grades, best design, best project, or why you're the project is not in this semester. You should cover up in next. It should not be. I think should not force for anything. I was not the best student. I was not even good student in my college. So I don't think so. That should be the criteria, the marks and grades and the best project. I think give them freedom to think about what they want to do, how they want to do. I think that will give them confidence to move forward.
Cool. So, what is your approach to fashion? In the sense, according to you, what is fashion?
According to me, what is fashion?
How do you define fashion?
I think for me, of course, we create something when we see the need, when we see the gap, and for the change. For me, fashion was the expression. This was again I said, like fashion for me it was a very good platform to express myself. My expression, my creativity, what I want to do, how I want to promote my Indian tradition, culture, and weaves. So for me, of course, fashion is an expression, like how to express your thoughts.
Right. Okay.
And even one more suggestion
I'm sorry, Vaishali?
one more suggestion I have for
Yeah.
designers and
Yes,
students. If you are doing something different, because when I went to the Pearl, uh, I was a science student, and suddenly I wanted to do fashion designing. Of course, I was coming after my 10, 11 years of experience. But if we are thinking about learning something new, I think we should go with the blank slate. We go with like so many thoughts and so many things. If you want to learn something new, you should be like very clean, and you should surrender yourself. You should surrender yourself. Uh, yeah.
I think we lost her.
I think her connection went down.
True.
Prasan, I think her connection went down. So maybe we can...
I think so. I'm trying to connect with her.
Or maybe we can start with the second part and then she can answer more questions later.
True.
Yeah, sure. So let me introduce the second professional. Very interesting. Okay, so he has won the award as a Young Designer of the Year. Okay, in Bristol, and also award of being an emerging talent in Rome. Okay, so here we have a fashion designer, Antonio Rizzo.
Yeah, hi. Good
Yeah,
evening,
so I would like to
everyone.
please, yes. Good evening so much. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for having me here, and very welcome everyone. I think this platform that you guys have organized, it's something very, very important, and it's also good the way are we using technology today to be connected to the rest of the world. Since we are opening in Bangalore, it would have been my pleasure to be there in person. But unfortunately, to the current situation, we cannot do that as of now. But I will be more than happy to meet you guys from DQ Lab as soon as we opening our Pearl campus in Bangalore. And I'll be more than happy to meet you in person and to share more experiences with the students if there are any questions from their side. I'm also coming from a very small village in Sicily, which is the south of Italy. And I think one of the last question that you've asked, Vaishali, was the kind of advice you would like to give to your parents. My parents wanted me to be a doctor, and yes, I study medicine. But then soon after, I realized that probably that was not exactly what I wanted to do in my life. So I moved to England and I started to study fashion design there. And I can tell you that at the end of the day, I believe every parent wants their children to be happy and to be successful. And you guys can only be successful if you do something that you really love. And I can tell you that today, my mom, she's probably one of the happiest mom in the world for what I've been doing during my entire career. I am a fashion designer, but I've been in fashion education for more than 15 years now, between Europe and Asia. And for the last 4 years, I've been working at Pearl Academy. And I am very happy to share that I've actually started my journey in India, in Bangalore, and finally we are opening in Bangalore. So that's something that I think it will be like an amazing opportunity for all the southern part of India and for students to take part of our courses. I have with me Prasanna, which is the HOD for the fashion department. So the School of Fashion at Pearl has two main departments. One is the fashion in textile, where Prasanna is the HOD, and the other one is the styling and beauty. So I think maybe we can start with Prasanna sharing with all of us what's inside the curriculum, if you want. And
Sure.
then after Prasanna, I will continue, guys, and I will share with you some activities that we are doing with the students. I would like to share with you what makes us proud and what makes us who we are. And Umesh, thanks for this opportunity, and thank you, Dion, for the same. Prasanna, if you might want to start, probably we can. I'll continue from you.
Sure, Maurizio, thank you very much.
Uh,
Thank
Pra-
you all
I-
of you for having me here.
Yeah, Prasanna, I just wanted to thank you on behalf of DQ Labs, to join us for this webinar as well. So Prasanna is the head of the Department of Fashion at Pearl Academy, and we're very happy to have you here. So please go ahead and continue.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you very much. Okay, I would like to share one very small presentation. Then I keep my video off because my internet connection is not very strong today. Hope this is visible to all of you.
Yes, Prasanna.
Okay, in fashion design, we have created the curriculum, always looking at future of fashion. Once students complete 4 years of journey, what will be the scenario of the industry? What will be the changing scenario of the market? So that is the focus of the curriculum. Curriculum help us to nurture students' personal creativity and encourage innovation in design thinking. That is one of the focus. It also helps students to motivate for their development in terms of intellectual development, critical thinking throughout the whole curriculum, the way they get different modules. As part of the curriculum, we have online BOF courses, and we have also many Coursera courses. If we look at our curriculum structure, some of the modules are already aligned with some BOF courses. These are the synchronous learning students going to have in our curriculum, where all the topmost leaders, fashion thinkers across the globe, they have designed this kind of short courses. Giving example, if we look at our curriculum in level 1, the first module for design milestone is aligned with one of the BOF course, Fashion History for Today. That course is designed and delivered by Collins McDowell. He's a very well-known fashion thinker and fashion designer, currently working with Central Saint Martin. Again, international exposure for the students is one of the focus, and that is embedded in the curriculum. We always link our students from the classroom with the practicing designers or different industry, so that they get the exposure, hands-on practice when they study, and they really understand towards the end of the curriculum what is the workplace environment. Modules like International Lab Experience and Live Industry Project connect students with the industry. Professional practice is one of the module I will explain later, that really helps students to develop their entrepreneurial skill, some of the employability skills, or again, go back to the industry and work there. We have open labs. A part of the each semester, we have 2 open labs that's mainly focused on future skills or multidisciplinary learning. In Vaishali's presentation, one of the very important points he has mentioned, that as a student, you should always focus on making your own path. That exactly we are always trying to nurture you in our curriculum. Individuality is one of the very, very important point when we are offering different modules to you. You'll get many opportunities where you have options for different projects throughout the curriculum, so that time to time you select what you want, what is your interest. You will start your journey with foundation level in the 4-year journey. You will get many modules where it is more about introspective. This is the time you come from very diversified school background. Some students will come from science, some will come from arts, some will come from probably commerce background. We always get many students from commerce background also in fashion design. So fashion design foundation level is the platform where you understand design holistically. In that foundation level, you will get another module called immersion module. That is the module create the bridge between foundation level and level 1. Many of the aspects what you should know as a fashion designer later will be explained, will be discussed, or sometimes you will get hands-on practice through some exercises as part of the immersion module. To deliver this module, you'll get faculty members from level 1 or level 2 coming and working with you together. Once you complete your foundation level, you go to level 1. In our curriculum, all the modules in every semester, we deliver with 4 modalities. One is for theory, one is for studio practice, one is for tools, another one is for project. So these are the 4 modalities we will be handling students across the whole curriculum. As part of the theory module, always you will get a context to set in. Probably in design milestone, if I give an example, you'll start from a historical context. You'll pick up one design or fashion moment or a fashion item, how it is evolved throughout different fashion era, and what is the current context of that particular fashion element now. How various fashion designers use that component in different geographical location, and what is the actual status at this moment. That kind of journey you are going to have. Drawing for design, that is one of the tools as part of that semester. See, whenever you are thinking of design, you have to express your design ideas on paper. So this module really help you understand the need of the hand drawing skill, or apart from the hand drawing skills, also to have lots of exposure on CAD skills. Nowadays, not having a good hand skill is not the only hurdle, right? We have many apps, many design software to express your design ideas. So this module will really help you to explore different mediums, different tools to develop your presentation skill. Similarly, design of materials is one of the modules where you will be discussing what is the material you are going to use as a fashion designer. Always focusing on lots of innovation in the material exploration, always thinking about how we can get one fabric from a market, and without using it as it is, what kind of surface elements we can probably apply in the fabric. So that, module, sorry, yeah.
Sorry. Can we see some of the student works or visuals that can support these modules?
Very much, in my, next explanation, probably I'll be focusing on those areas only. Right, very quickly, I will go through the, some of the modules highlighting. Similarly, brands mode is one of the module in level 1, where from the very beginning, we are encouraging students not to follow a trend blindly. It is important to understand what is the emerging trend, but you have to create your own trend. So you'll be, again, aligned with practicing designers or fashion expert in the industry, so that you can listen to them, how they have created their own brand. So gradually you develop your own ideas to create your own brand. So as part of that module this time, just currently we have fashion designers Amit Agarwal. He talked about branding and fashion innovation. He's one of the designers always focusing on surface innovation every time in his collection. So he was, whenever we create this kind of opportunity for all students, this opportunity is always for all the students across campuses. So students connect with the designer or industry expert through synchronous learning using online platform, and they take the session. Similarly, for fashion preservation, we had Judy Fetters. She's the co-founder of Kalaraksha, always very closely working with Indian craft. She's one of the evolutionary person, the way she has worked with Indian craft, bringing that to the international market. We had Sandeep Bamwal. She came from fashion brand, everybody knows Zara. She is working as a designer there, and she was talking about mass consumption, how the mass consumerism is also important, because fashion industry is one of the industry where 40 million people are employed by this industry. We are talking about fashion sustainability is important, sustaining communities, giving, creating opportunity for employability. That is also a sustainable approach. So she was talking mainly about consumerism. Again, we had one very star alumni like Vaishali, Leon Vas. He's one of the designer working very well from Mumbai. Created the brand called Carlio Studio along with his friend Karan Berry. They were talking about what is the importance of branding and promotion. How it is important to look at social media as a powerful tool to sell your brand. When you go to level 2, we have one module called International Lab Experience. That is the module where students get ample opportunities to collaborate with various design colleges, fashion experts across the world. This year, as part of this module, we had a collaboration with London College of Contemporary Arts, where two fashion experts from that college, Sandy and Grace, they came. This is the picture, and they worked collaboratively with Pearl students. And they were working with organic cotton. India is known for production of organic cotton, how it is important for having garment with organic cotton. That is the main highlight of that particular collaboration. We had a collaboration with some industry experts and designers, those who have already participated in WOW fashion design competition in New Zealand. So as part of the module, many international designers, they had different webinars with Pearl students, talking about what kind of techniques, what kind of materials they have explored as part of their collection. Recently, we had a collaboration with Whitecliffe College of Design and Art, New Zealand, where students are working on a collaborative project called Fashion Sustainability. They're looking at sustainability from different aspects, how they can explore sustainability from zero waste pattern making techniques, how they can look at sustainability from reuse, recycle, reducing approach of design, or they're also talking about many other aspects, in terms of sustainability and ethical practice. Whenever we have a particular module, always we look at what is the industry exposure required, because we are producing manpower for the industry, and aligning students from the classroom with the industry is always important. Sometimes they come for expert talk or giving master classes, or sometimes they're invited as part of the jury panel. So when students produce some work as part of their project, this industry experts give their expert suggestion. I was mentioning about modules like application of social media. That is one module again aligned with one of the BOF course, digital marketing. When you go to the final year, we have a module called professional practice. That module really helps students to understand what should be the route for the students immediately after completion of the course, whether they should go for entrepreneurship, or they should go for employability in the industry, or they should look for probably higher education, going for masters. So students, when they do a module like portfolio development, they will be working from professional practice to the portfolio development, align their thought process immediately after the course curriculum. When they get over, what will be their route, taking that as a main aim. As I was mentioning, always we're focusing on industry exposure. Sometimes as part of the module, students will be traveling with the faculty member to the industry, understanding what is the whole environment, what kind of technology in the industry is following, what kind of probably design software they're practicing, so that they get a similar exposure in the classroom. Sometimes this kind of exposure really helps students to understand whatever they're learning in the classroom, how it is relevant for industry. If you look at the picture here,
Okay.
This is the picture for students across campuses coming together and doing craft exploration in Jaipur. In our Jaipur campus, many craftsmen are invited here. They're closely working with the industry. Similarly, when we talk about studio as a module, as part of the studio practice, students go to the industry and they sometimes use that environment to practice their work, to develop certain samples. In our curriculum, design process is always getting priority from the very beginning, so that when we're talking about individuality, that is nurtured from the very beginning. So process is really very important rather than the product. That is the philosophy always we follow. So it is not only for design, they get lots of inputs in the CAD areas also. They use many apps, what is evolving nowadays, to explore their design ideas on paper. So these are some of the students' work, what they do in their CAD software. It is not about design exploration on paper. It is equally emphasized on the creative pattern making also. So they have a design on the paper, how that will be translated into the reality. So modules like creative pattern making, inputs in garment construction, that really helps students to understand how to realize a particular form. As part of their process, they are always encouraged to do their exploration in 3D also. So they will take any medium, whether it is a paper or some hard medium, to look at how whatever design exploration they had on the paper, how they can translate into the reality. We always focus on research, whether they're doing trend focused research, market survey, understanding the client profile, or sometimes going to the craft sector, working closely with the craft people. So some of the design boards. So research is always a very integral part of the learning from the very beginning. We focus on primary and secondary research. And this is one example where one of my students from the final design project, she has gone to Kutch. She was exploring, Ajrak painting along with the craft people. So that talks about the whole curriculum structure, the way students will be encouraged for different modules to get the progression. As part of the level 2, that year 3, we have one module called Live Industry Project. that project create two opportunities for the students. Either you can go for the industry internship, or we will get the industry project to the classroom situation with academic guidance and some of the industry expert as a mentor. You'll be doing that industry project in the classroom. I'm very happy, always feel very proud to talk about this particular slide. These are our star alumni. One was presenting just before me, Vaishali S. And we have people like Nikhil Mehra, pass out from this particular course. We have Rinjin Dadu, Mandira Wick, so many peoples all around. The best thing is we have designers, student designers coming from Northeast, creating brand like Monkey See, Monkey Do, Utsav and Teresa. They're doing very good work. We have one designer, Aditya Dugar, working very good with market in Kolkata. I was talking about Lian was one of the very proud alumni, Ashita Singhal. She was the winner of one of the international design competition called James McQuarrie Award. As part of that design competition, she was developing a business plan to create her brand called Paiwant. So she was the winner, and she got 250 pounds US dollar to establish her brand in the beginning, immediately after passing out from Pearl course. We have another alumni working with Ralph Lauren. He's head designer with the US Polo Sports, Rohan Chabra. We're very proud of this kind of designer. People like Kriti Tula is evolutionary the way she started Doodles as a sustainable brand in India. So we are equally proud of Anam, one of the brand always talking about gender bias. And the student was Sumiran Kabir Sharma. So we have a very strong alliance with FDCI. So as part of that whole alliance, our final year students, when they complete their final design collection, they showcase using the same platform. So portfolio is the brand for our showcasing, and some of the video clips from there. Maurizio, would like to mention some of the initiative what we do here.
Yeah, I'll do later on with my slides. If you want to continue, then I have some slides also to share with the FTC.
Perfectly fine. So for the last 3 years, we are sending our graduating students to participate in the London Graduate Fashion Week. That is, we are the first, design college in India, creating this kind of opportunity for students. For the last few years, always we have some established fashion designers as a creative advisor for the school. And in that collaboration, when students go for internship with the designers, people like Manish Arora, Rahul Mishra, right? They get the opportunity to travel with those designers to Paris Fashion Week, New York Fashion Week as the backstage helpers. We have created many opportunities for students, like with a collaboration with FDCI, Be Somebody, where some of the very known fashion designers, like Rahul Mishra again, Suket Dher, and Anju Modi, talking to our students in that same platform, India Fashion Week. I would request Maurizio to talk a little more about kind of initiative we take, how we encourage students to be more like a fashion promoter rather than just, blindly a follower. We do lots of activities in the name of fashion is contagious in the same tagline. We have organized many activities in the academy, giving the title called School as Festival. As part of this particular event, we invite, again, craft artisan to the academic environment. They work very closely with our current students. I hope Maurizio will talk about the kind of platform we have developed for our students.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Like, Idea Generation.
Yeah.
Designer Club, Idea Generator, Manish Arora's pop-up store, Khadi Goes Global, celebrating 150th birthday of Mahatma Gandhi, collaboration with Fashion Incubator, collaboration with Art Society Italy. These are many activities recently we have created for students. So whenever we create this kind of opportunity for students, we always try our best to align it with our existing curriculum, so that whatever work they develop as part of the curriculum ongoing project, that can be the outcome for showcasing to the public. So immediately they get feedback about their work, where the general public is reviewing and giving their feedback. So this is the way always we're focusing students to be more unique. We strongly believe that they have to be more passionate about fashion rather than just following what others are doing. We always believe that they should have a very strong creativity, and at the same time, they should have their own imagination. We are always trying our best to make them curious for learning. Art, science, geography, whatever environment they have, they should have the, their mindset to learn everything from their surroundings. That is the focus always we have. We are always trying our best to make them more observant. It is very important for a fashion designer to understand the market, consumers, what kind of changing scenario happening globally, so that they are prepared for the industry 4 years or 5 years down the line. And most importantly, we are always focusing on be an influencer. Probably that's why we have designers like Vaishali or Nikhil Mehra or many more, what I have explained just recently. Over to you, Maurizio.
Yep. Do you want to unshare your screen, Prasanna?
I'll do that.
Yeah, so thank you, Prasanna, for sharing what's inside the curriculum. Guys, I will show you now a few more things that we do with the School of Fashion. Let me just, okay, so as I mentioned earlier on, let me see if I can get the full screen. I hope that's visible for all. So the School of Fashion at Pearl Academy is one of the oldest school. I am the dean for the school, and together with me, I have Prasanna, who's the HOD for the fashion department, and then I have Shalini, who's the HOD for the styling and image design and beauty. One of the things that we already discussed while talking with Vaishali is how important is the kind of connection that there is between the student and the industry. And something I'm very proud of to share is that the kind of collaboration we do have with the Fashion Design Council of India. So that allow us to connect our students to the industry right from day one. These that you see on the slides are three of the activities that we do with them. Idea generator, it's open not just to Pearl students, but to students from any other school as well, where we are the organizer of that, and the FDCI normally is hosting at their premises different people from the fashion industry, where the students are coming, they're trying to understand what will be the future of fashion, and then they've been given a task. And then we create what we call it a trend map, and that work that the students are making gets then distributed during the fashion week. Prasanna already shared about Brands Mood. Brands Mood, it's a very important module that we do have in the school. And thanks to that, we connect the students to understand the DNA of different brands. And we have connecting students to designers, not only of India, but also internationally. In fact, the one you see in the picture, it's a Japanese designer that met and discussed with our students in the India Fashion Week in 2018. And another very important activity that we do, it's the Designer Club. So Designer Club, basically, once you finish your foundation level and you move to level 1, we create a space where students get to meet different people from the industry, and they try to understand how is it and what is it that they need to do to become successful designers. These are some of the projects that we have done. One on the left, it's a Kurta project that we did together with FIT New York. So basically, internationality, it is something very important, because nowadays, thanks to the social media, and thanks to the fact that you will be no longer only designer for an Indian market, but you will design for a global market. We are training our students to connect to students from all our partner university and create something new out of that. So the Gurta project is basically, the idea behind was that students from New York would have developed some textiles, and students from India would have looked at the kurta and tried to understand how to make that Indian garment for a global market. And we have successfully completed this project last year. We are planning to showcase this collection in New York as soon as the situation gets better, and then during the India Fashion Week again as soon as the situation gets better. I think what Umesh was asking before about how important is the visibility of the students and how important is to take part of Fashion Weeks. I strongly believe that for students having the opportunity to showcase at the Fashion Week, it is something extremely important. And thanks to the collaboration that we do with the FDCI, all our students, whether they are Delhi students or Bangalore students, they get the opportunity to showcase in the same platform as all the famous designers. In fact, this year we have studying with us the daughter of JJ Valaya, and a couple of weeks back we were having a phone conversation to where he was sharing how exciting it is to see his own daughter showcasing this in the same platform as he does. And I think, guys, when you're looking for an institute, it is very, very important to try to see what kind of exposure that institute can give you. The styling students have been taking part at the Makeup and Bridal Fashion Week, which happens in Abu Dhabi. Prasanna have already discussed about the international lab experience. And we do many, many other projects, like, for example, what you see here on the bottom, it's the design students made the new uniform for Haryana police using traditional textiles from Haryana. So I think what Vaishali was saying when she was mentioning of how well you have to be connected with the roots, that's something I believe it's strongly important. And but you know, you have to be able also to get that kind of exposure that allows you to eventually become professional, and not only to design for an Indian market, but to be able to design generally for all. So for that, something that we have been doing quite successfully for the last couple of years, it's taking students to different fashion weeks, where we don't want the students just to see the fashion week, but we want the students to intern at the fashion week. So here you have some images of, for example, here you have our students attending and interned at the Trussardi fashion show in Milan. We just before the pandemic situation, what you see here, it's students at New York Fashion Week. We had the opportunity to take the students there. They were interning to all the fashion shows. Below that, it's in 2018, students did a collaboration with Manish Arora, and they had the opportunity to showcase at the Paris Fashion Week. We constantly, as part of the International Lab experience, we constantly encourage students to go abroad, to experience different culture, to experience different different culture, actually, to understand how they can enrich their knowledge by doing that. For the students who decide not to travel abroad, we are offering the same kind of opportunity in India itself. So we have professional people coming from abroad and then teaching our students on a daily basis. These are some of the mentors that we constantly have in the college. So again, whether you are a Delhi student or a Bangalore student, doesn't really make any difference, because we are actually connecting you to any type of industry that we can. And the collaboration with the FDCI have helped us a lot. And talking about Bangalore in specific, I think Bangalore is a great place where to start the journey of fashion design, because the amount of industry that Bangalore has to offer, it's definitely really, really big. And if you enroll to a good college, that gives you that kind of opportunity and that kind of exposure with the industry, then for sure you will be very successful in this career. Our advisory board is made of a variety of different people from the industry. I hope most of you knows Sunil Sethi, who's the president of the Fashion Design Council of India. Then we have different people that are either from the fashion fraternity or from the academic side. And we try to keep as much as international as we can. And these are some of the works that we have been doing for our students. So what you see here, for the 150th birthday of Mahatma Gandhi, we decided to install 150 charters in one of the biggest shopping mall in Delhi. And everybody was coming to the installation had the opportunity to actually spin the yarn. So that's because we really believe that connecting to the roots is something very, very important. We're also helping other companies to develop their program. So what you see here, it's a collaboration that we do with Setu. Setu basically it's a school based in Noida. They also have another school based in Jaipur. And they're teaching students with a not good economical background. So we have designed for them the curriculum, we have trained their faculty, and we helping them into empower, generally everyone. Below that, it's another project that we are doing together with TR Jail. I'm sure you're all aware that TR Jail is probably one of the biggest jail in Asia. So in one of the projects we've done for them is to organize for them a fashion lab where inmates are getting trained by Pearl Academy staff. Students are also helping us out. And what you see there, it's one of the fashion show that we did here in Delhi to celebrate the works done by the inmates. The scope of that is that we want to empower those ladies so that by the time they complete their period in jail and they come out from that, they can actually build up their own small little business and they can continue doing it. And below that, it's one of the projects that we did under the umbrella of Fashion is Contagious. So basically, we want, fashion is also media to spread awareness and to allow people, fashion is not just about designing clothes, guys. And the picture there, it was a march of students wearing masks, and that was about let everybody understand how important it is to wear a mask during pollution times. And also that went very successful. Our students were showcased in different news in DTV in India, but also in US, how we as a fashion school decided to create this kind of awareness through the medium of fashion. These are some of the works done by our styling students. So we have Tanya Velia, she was costume stylist for Gully Boy and Made in Heaven. So I think it is very, very important to that the course that or the school that you guys are choosing, it's very well connected with the industry, because eventually the industry will absorb you. And yes, there are some students who might want to start on their own and be entrepreneur, but as Vaishali recommended, it is always very important to start to work for somebody else, understand what the industry requirements are, and then eventually start up something on your own. Some more pictures here are about our student achiever. The first one is Amanpreet Kaur. She showcased last year at the London Graduate Fashion Week. The year before, we had another student called Surya who showcased at the same venue. So basically, every year, Pearl Academy selects one student. We have 6 campuses, and one student gets selected and fully sponsored by us to showcase their final collection in London. And that really gives you an opportunity and an amazing exposure, I would say. The next that you see, it's Antara Singh. She got selected last year in the WOW design competition in New Zealand. We have Drishti Gupta, who showcased her work in the prestigious Jananjir Art Gallery in Mumbai. Francisca, last year again, 2 years back, was the runner-up for Woolmark Runaway. Mehek presented her collection at Vancouver Fashion Week, and Serat, she was finalist at the Red Design Award. And I'm very proud to share that out of 32 finalists, 5 people this year in the Red Designer Award are also from Pearl Academy. So I think this is wanted to be like an overall sharing of what we've been doing and how we've been supporting our students to become fashion designers. It is very important to understand that fashion is not an easy subject, but yes, we are there to help you. And I think DQ Lab is doing a beautiful job to prepare you for entrance exam, and then it's all our job to train you to become as successful as you guys want to be. I would like to probably, Umesh, maybe we can take some questions if you want.
Yes, Maurizio. That's a very impressive presentation. We get to see your alumni and the good work that they're doing. Thank you so much for that.
I think, Umesh, something we are very proud of is our faculty, of course,
yes,
because all our faculty have, are all coming from the industry, and that's very, very important. And as well as that, yes, our students that then becomes our alumni, that is what is making us proud. I think in both student and faculty, something that we really try to keep really high is the quality of research. In fact, we continuously training our faculty, and you know, and even our students are attending all sorts of international forums, and that really helps them to be successful.
True. So can you share some information on the life of a student as a design student? What would be their life like? I mean, what would they be doing in a day?
Okay, I think maybe Prasanna is the most appropriate for that. I can also share if you want, but probably Prasanna, being the HOD, can tell you more in details. What is it that a student do? I think something I'm very proud actually to say just before let Prasanna talk is that unfortunately, due to this pandemic situation that we are facing, we've been training faculty for teaching online for the last 5 years. Right. And some of our modules were already in a blended format. So the online was already there, but I'm very proud to say that we managed to shift everything from face-to-face to online within the amount of 5 days. So it's been a huge task, but we've been managing to keep our students very much engaged into whatever project they were doing. And I've just completed yesterday a round of meetings with all the students, because I believe that it's very important that the academics and the students are very well connected, and all of them had a beautiful experience also using the online platform. So as Vaishali was saying, technology, it's a tool, and we should know how to do a good use out of it. And that's probably something I think make us really proud, how technology and sustainability and connecting to the roots are probably the 3 pillars that makes our institute such a successful one. Prasanna, I think if you want to share the life of a student from the moment from
very precisely, Maurizio. If I have to talk about the life of students in Pearl Academy for a fashion student, the one word is multitasking. We very strongly believe that, you know, fashion students should be a multitasking person, because that is the environment they're going to face in the industry tomorrow, right? They will start the day probably, you know, coming to the classroom, but immediately after the classroom, they will go to the market to source some fabric. Probably in the evening, they're going to have some, you know, chill time with their friends, but, you know, in between, they'll be doing some, you know, group work. So it is lots of work together, but having a life, you know, enjoying their own life also. We always encourage, you know, many activities together, you know, apart from the classroom learning. So that makes, you know, students really confident, or to find out their own path when they complete the course. Yeah?
Yeah. Okay, so I think Vaishali has joined us back. There are a few questions, specific questions for Vaishali. Um, Vaishali, would you be able to answer? You're on mute. Right.
She might have some connection problem. If you want, we can also try to answer that if you have
Okay,
any.
okay, so she's back. Yeah, perfect.
Hi.
Okay,
Hi.
thank you, Vaishali. So a few of the attendees want to understand what are the weaves that you have worked with in your designs, and what are the different kind of fabrics that you use? That is a very common question. A lot of attendees are asking, trying to understand that aspect.
Yeah, so I've started with Chanderi because it's very close to my town. And then after exploring Chanderi, I've worked with Maheshwar Fabric, which is again very close to the Chanderi village. And then, of course, because I am from Madhya Pradesh, so I've explored first Madhya Pradesh weave. Then I saw my grandmother wearing, my mom wearing Paithani. Then I went to Maharashtra and I explored Maharashtrian weaves like Paithani Khand. After that, I went to Northeast. So Northeast, in Northeast, I've explored Kesa part. It's not very well known weave, but it's a beautiful weave. They make this weave with soaked bamboo yarns. So after that, I've explored a lot of silk from Northeast and then West Bengal for khadi and jamdani. Still, I'm searching for weaves because we have almost 140 weaves in India. Yes.
Right.
I
Okay,
think,
that's
Kupish,
interesting.
to adding to what Vishali said, I always, one of the reasons why I'm in India, it's despite the fact I'm Italian, I think India is the only country in the entire world who is able to create couture garments starting from the thread.
Yes.
And I think that's something that really should make every person think about it, because while most of the jobs that are currently available might be eventually in the future automated, I think nothing can ever stop creativity, and creativity is probably the job of the future. And
Yes.
I am very proud that Vishal is one of our alumni. She's constantly in contact with all our students. She travels to all our campuses, and I think we are super proud of what she has done. And yes, definitely, what she said is truly right. India is the only country in the entire world who can produce for the entire world, and who is actually able to start from the thread. In one of the slides that Prasanna was sharing, there was a picture of me and the designer of Dior in Jaipur, where actually the Embassy of France, together with India, have built up in Jaipur one studio where they're training artisans to create innovative motifs, and then they upskilling people. So I think there is a lot, even though, as Vaishali mentioned, fashion is still something very new in India, but there is a lot to discover. And don't forget that most of the things adopted by the world are actually coming from this country. Look at the bias cut, for example. It used
Yeah,
to
yeah.
be one of the Mughal techniques, and we are living in a sort of a new reality. And
Very true.
something that India have practiced forever is the use of zero waste, and
Yeah.
it's inside the Indian pattern cutting system. And I think the entire world is actually trying to first, the entire world has been inspired one way or another one from India. Look at Armani or any other big name you can mentioning. But also, I think the kind of techniques and kind of skills that this country has to offer for aspiring designer is something really, really amazing. One of the things we're actually working on at the moment at an academic level, it's called The Future of Craft. And we're trying to investigate together with the with the Fashion Design Council of India, whether how will we be able to preserve the craft, because the preservation is something extremely important. And yes, technology would, if we're using technology in the right way, technology will surely help to preserve the craft. And I think this country really has a lot to offer for the entire world. And for all these students who are actually attending today, I would like to say they are in the right place at the right time.
Very interesting to know. Has so much to offer the world. The future is with the Indian students, I believe. Yeah. So, a question: what are the opportunities after doing a course from Pearl? And his question is: Pearl focuses on.
Umesh, we can't really hear you.
Is like graphic as well. I'm sorry. So one of the attendees, Balaji Kumar, is
Okay.
asking about the career opportunities after doing fashion design from Pearl. And he's also asking what are the other specialities Pearl offers, like graphic, visual effects, or any other courses Pearl offers.
Okay. Maybe I can take that, and then Prasanna can also add on to that, or maybe Vaishali can also add if she wants. I think, Pearl Academy started with the School of Fashion, but currently we have School of Fashion, School of Design, School of Media, and School of New Age Business. So with the School of Fashion, we're focusing on fashion design, textile design, styling, and beauty. In the School of Design, we have courses in graphic design, communication design, interior design, game design, and so on and so forth. All the informations are there in the website for those who are not, who want to explore other creative careers. Talking about the School of Fashion, since I'm the dean for that school, the kind of opportunities that we give to the students once they graduate, I think they are probably among the best in the country. And the reason why, it's because, as Prasanna early mentioned, when they are in their level 2, there is one of the module which is called Industry Life Project. So during Industry Life Project, students are going to intern directly in fashion houses if they want, or they can take up a project for the industry. And post that, when they're reaching in their level 3, there is another module which is called professional practice. During professional practice, we try to understand what is it that the student want to do next. So for example, we have some students who want to progress studies. So we help them build a portfolio to progress and take a master anywhere else they want. We also have students who want to become entrepreneur. So for those, we have career services, which helps students to actually take placement. To understand how to become entrepreneur by themselves. And also we have students who want to go and work for the industry. So for that, we have the career cell who actually support the students all the way throughout, even after 5 years of graduating. One of the final things the students are doing with us is showcasing their final design project at the Lotus Makeup India Fashion Week. And that it's a platform where we invite all the people from the industry, and most of the students get absorbed by the industry through that. We have many students who are actually doing internships also abroad. To give you an example, a Jaipur student did the intern at Anna Sue in New York, and then she continued working for that for a couple of years. She recently, if I'm not wrong, Prasanna, returned into India. So see, the fashion industry is so large that technically has space for everyone. In our particular case, we are good in training the students, but also in placing the students. And over the years, we've been there for 27 years, and we have created many great alumni have come out of Pearl, and Vaishali S is an example of that. And I'm sure they're very much open to take Pearl intern and to train them even more and to eventually, make them successful stars. Am I right, Vishali?
Yeah, of course, I want to add in this, it's very important because I think I really want to thank Paul because I have got the confidence and I've got the opportunity to go to the fashion week, and I was ushering one of the stall, and I've realized this is the platform, that was the opening for me for the fashion industry, and that was the uh, good exposure, and I got the language from the institute and so much support from the faculties because I was running my 3 stores in Bombay and I was doing course from Delhi. So I was traveling every week, but honestly, it was not just the learning of only course or the syllabus. I've learned so much. I have learned a lot from Paul, and I think what I am doing right now, Paul, I think plays a very big role in this because otherwise, the exposure what I have got, whatever I've learned, I think it was we say the confirmation for everything stamp, whatever we need. I've got from Paul because I was doing my business, I was running my business for 11 years, but I was not sure about many things. But after studying, after getting this kind of exposure, I think that was really something for me. Yeah.
Umesh, if you allowed me, I would like to introduce also to this amazing group the person who actually
Sure,
discovered
sure.
me. She's Dr. Sayongita, and she's our campus director for the Bangalore campus. And I would like to say that she's so well connected with the industry that thank you guys for doing that, because students who get trained in DQ Lab and then get access with us, I think Sarangita can really support them all into finding jobs in whichever part of the industry they would like to go and work for.
Thank you so much, Maurizio, for your kind words. And yes, 100%. I mean, I'm really happy that Pearl is opening Bangalore and our Bangalore campus this year. And we're looking forward to seeing lots of students, and any help, always there. For our students with the industry, I've spent many years in this industry. So I guess, yeah, I can say that with confidence that any help that's needed, I think it's possible to be given to the students. Thank you, Maurizio.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So Pearl is coming to Bangalore, so we're all excited about that.
Yes, we're really excited. Corona has dampened our spirits because
Yeah.
it's not all this is lockdown, but we are not worried about that. We're going to open on time, so really excited about it. So we're looking forward to seeing students on the campus.
So an attendee by name Mansi is asking, if a student has done a course in some other college and there is any short-term courses provided by Pearl, and is it as useful as the full-time course at Pearl?
Can I answer this, Maurizio?
Of course.
Apart from our 4 years UGFD program and 2 years PGFD program, we also have 1-year courses for students. For particular this kind of courses, we get students from industry, those who are already working there, but they don't have formal education. They come within a very short time period to be trained formally in the industry. Sometimes we get students, those who are willing to take fashion as a serious career option, but they want to try in a short course in the beginning, right? If you're already doing a course, not very happy, you have an opportunity to join the short course also, but I would always suggest go for a program which is more elaborate, where you take all the aspects of fashion design to explore. Thank you.
Okay. So Ranik has an she says, understand your curriculum focus and group.
Umesh, you've gone blank again.
How going forward as
You have to repeat the question.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I will repeat the question. Raja Puranic, as I understand Fashion Institute focuses on teamwork and group activity. How that will affect going forward as social distancing will be norm now for at least some time?
See, very much, that's a very relevant question. I think, when we talk about group work, it is very much possible online also. As we are delivering everything online, we are creating, online group for students to connect together and discuss their learning. Group work doesn't mean that you have to be physically present sometimes. It's all about, putting many mindset together in one platform, having brainstorming and trying to find out what will be the best design solution sometimes. We do group work, when students do research. They will go to the market or they will do a secondary research, exploring books or internet resources, but everybody will bring their own content. They will put together, then they will analyze what will be the best resources they should take it further, right? So group work, I strongly believe that doesn't require any kind of physical space. It has different way of handling it. Thank you. I hope I'm able to answer the question.
Sorry?
Yes, yes. And may I know from Vaishali, how is that affecting her business in the sense, how is she working remotely? Social.
Sorry, if you can repeat your question again.
Yeah, only during these times of social distancing, you must be working on many projects, right? So you said that you work with the karigaris, right? So how is that getting affected now?
Yeah, so of course, we have a lot of projects in hand and a lot of things are going on. Weavers, they have the production, Karigar, they have work. But in this situation, of course, we can't work. So somehow, like in some places, I'm trying to give them work at home. I'm giving them machines so they can work from home. And I think this is the situation we have to think, we have to prepare for the future, we have to prepare for future projects. I think this much only we can do. And I'm trying to support weavers, giving them advance money so they can survive, because I think for Vaishali S, weavers are the lifeline. So I think most important thing for me right now, they should survive. Maybe on basics, I'm not a very big, so whatever I can do, I'm trying for them. I'm donating my garment on my social media. So whatever money I get from that donation, I pay to the weavers, and few activities we are doing for the weavers on social media. And of course, I'm trying to give their wages and salaries regularly. So they should be in like place and they should not leave their work, because already they are suffering so much, and very few weavers they are ready to work. Young generation is not ready to work. So this is the situation. I think this is the most difficult situation for them. So main thing is I'm working for them on these things, and I'm planning my future projects uh, consciously, because of course future we don't know what will happen. So I'm very conscious about like what I want to create for my future, because this was the season. It was for me, it was in coincidence. I haven't planned my international shows, I haven't planned my New York or other shows what I do. I was not aware about this situation. This was just in coincidence, because I was relaunching my brand. I've opened my flagship store in March only in Kalagoda. So we don't know. So I'm just very conscious and planning future projects according to the situation.
Right. So few of the attendees wanted to understand, as a fashion designer, how would they enter a fashion week, like Lakme Fashion Week or Amazon Fashion Week or
They have the process.
how
They
do
have.
what they have to do into
I think after, of course, they have some. They have criterias for that, and after doing your fashion design study, um, I think you have to send your work to the jury, and they select an industry experts. They select your work for the fashion week. I
think to
don't think so. It's
Vaishali,
in direct entry. I think you have to go through that procedure. You have to go through the jury, and then they select emerging and young designers.
Hmm. Adding to Vaishali, many times Pearl Academy, we create a separate show for our alumni. We have
Yes.
examples where the India Fashion Week is going on. As part of that Fashion Week, there is one show completely dedicated for
Oh
our
yes, that
alumni.
is a very
So
good
in that
exposure.
case, yeah, some of the alumni we invite and we create that platform. So
Yes,
that
yes,
gives alumni the confidence, and
yes.
probably from there ahead they can carry forward.
And I
The
think
journey.
that's a very fantastic, and it's a great thing, because first question we have in our mind when we are studying what we will do after this, how we will get the exposure. And this is really a fantastic thing Pearl Academy is doing. Because the first thing we want to, when we are studying fashion, we want to attend the show, we want to enter in that industry, and that is a big question, how to do that. And I think this is a great thing, Pearl Academy, because when I was there, it was not there. So, but this is the great opportunity to new designers. Yeah.
Right. So apart from what other support does Pearl Academy provide for your students?
Can you repeat the
Like
entire question?
if somebody to from launching the students by fashion show or in-house show at Pearl Academy, giving them a platform to get, what other ways does Pearl Academy support its students? For example, maybe internships or
Okay, you want me to?
campus interviews, or maybe to launch their business.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can pick up that. See, once a student graduate, complete this course of studies with us, we have a career cell which support the students to finding jobs into the fashion industry. So that's one thing that we are actually doing it. And so far we have the 99% of placement. Also, we have an alumni cell which helps the students who want to start up their own business. And for that, usually during their final design project, we have an external jury and we give students an award, which is called Racing Star Award. So Racing Star Awards allow the students to get full support from Pearl Academy to start up their own business. And in case they have a need to take part of fashion weeks, like for example, last year and last to last year, two alumni wanted our support, economical support, to showcase at Lakme Fashion Week. So they got that from the alumni fund. So there are plenty, or if we're talking about support in finding internships, we simply want the students to understand by themselves which industry they would like to go and work for. And then whichever support that we can give to connect the student while he's a student to an industry, will automatically do that. And once they graduate, we are keep following them up for the next 5 years to understand what they've done after graduation, what is it that if they want to change career, what is it that they want to do it.
Adding to Maurizio, because of the pandemic situation right now, the CS, Career Service Team, has extended that whole support for the next 5 years to Pearl students. Once you are students in Pearl Academy, you'll get all the guidance from CS team for the next 5 years for your placement, for the incubation and all center to support you for your entrepreneurship, all the initiative.
That's very cool to know. So an attendee is asking if one has to do fashion design, should they do it in India or in an international school? Would there be any difference?
I think India has lots of international schools. We are one of them. I see. I think whoever wants to study fashion design, first of all, they need to understand what is it that they want to do, and how can that they also need to understand how contemporary is their curriculum and what kind of exposure that school can give them, and what kind of connection. I think internationality is something very, very important, but that doesn't mean that a student have to study for 4 years abroad, because I think in that case, the kind of money that the parents are ending up to spending, it's obviously much more. India have plenty of very good design colleges that they can go and study for. If they're looking for something that it's well connected with the industry, that can give them that international exposure and things like that, we are there. So we are more than welcome to welcome them all in our college. But it doesn't really matter where you're studying it, whether it's in India or abroad. What it matters is whether you get that international exposure and what sort of extracurricular activity the students can do.
Yeah, I think the connections, the exposure, all those matter a lot. And wherever they're getting that, that should be the place to study. Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
So somebody who is 33, is it too late to enter Pearl Academy? Is a question.
We don't have, I mean, they have to be from class 12 onwards. We never had any, I don't think there is an age that you should stop learning. When I was a student, one of my classmates, she was 65.
Wow.
So I don't think there is a limit. I think Vaishali also answered that earlier on. There was somebody who I think was a mother, and she wanted to understand whether she can start studying again. I don't think there is an age limit to study creative careers.
Hmm.
And in my classes, we have students after completing 2 years or 3 years of medical or engineering course, they're joining fashion design course because that is their passion. So we have all sort of examples. Age limit, timing is not a barrier anymore.
I think here I want to add, because I've done post-graduation after my 11 years of experience. I was running my stores. That time I was 30 and my daughter was there. She was 1.5 years old. So I think there is no limit, we can't say when to do. So when you think you want to do, I think you should do. So I think, yeah.
And also, Mesh, consider the fact that one of our successful program is our PG course. And in PG course, we have students coming from any sort of background. We have people coming from pharmacy, people coming from engineer, people coming from commerce. And most of the time, these people are people who graduate in something else because their parents didn't want them to enter a creative career. But we welcome them all, and the best part is that we want them to use whatever skills they've learned into their previous graduation, and then translate that into fashion. So I think there is not and we, even though I am a dean, Prasanna is the HOD, Vaishali, it's a very well-known designers, we never stop studying. I think studying is something that is constantly there for any one of us.
Yes.
Right.
Lifelong, yeah.
Right. Yeah. So Amrut wants to know if the Pearl entrance exam has postponed.
It's not been slightly postponed, but we're running the entrance exam online. Again, for that, you can go to our website, and we also have an app that they can download from either Google Play or Apple
iPhone,
Store.
yeah.
Yeah, or Apple Store, and then they get all the information regarding the entrance exams and all. Actually, we redesigned the entrance exam in order for people to be able to take their entrance exams from their own home, and I think um, the digital era that we're living on is giving us lots of opportunity to keep everything on time and on track.
Right. And can you share some information on a beginner's portfolio? Let us say a student has finished a 4-year fashion design course and applying for opportunities. So what should the portfolio consist of?
See, I think Prasanna will add into that, but at Pearl, we are asking the students once they reach the level 3 and we understand what is it that they want to do next. We are asking, we also identify what type of portfolio the students should make, because there is a big difference between a professional portfolio and a graduation portfolio. For those who want to go and study for a master, they will require a graduation portfolio, which is very different than a professional portfolio. And for that, we have recently tied up with a very important school based in Rome called the ACM, where the designer from Gucci comes from, just to give you like a clear example. And together with them, we are helping students to create graduate portfolio for those who want to study more and maybe enter into a master. For those who want to go and work, we also, as the last one of the, I think Prasanna was sharing the slide, is one of the modules on the final year. They're also, we're also helping students to build their professional portfolio. I think Prasanna can give you more information on what goes into that.
Yeah, now when industry is looking for fashion designers, newcomers, they're really in the very focus. They want someone to be very precisely, good with one particular area. So we are always guiding the students when they're compiling the portfolio to highlight what is the need of the job. If somebody is looking for a designer for menswear category, so they will arrange the portfolio showing, menswear work, more in the portfolio. Similarly, women's wear, kids wear, or whatever projects they do. So we always, allow students to rearrange the portfolio according to the need of the job. Right, that is one focus. In Pearl Academy, we have an online portal for students to be enrolled for their placement. So when they enroll, we always help students to create an e-portfolio. That portfolio will go before the students, before they appear for interview, to the industry. So how precisely they can put their work together so that their strength, their skills, subject knowledge, or whatever something extra learning they had from Pearl Academy, that is highlighted.
So in this context, if a design student wants to work with international fashion companies, should their work be based on that company's place, or it can be from their like from the roots? Like, should it be specific to the company's brand specific portfolio, or what is it?
See, students can rearrange the portfolio at any moment. We look at always a very flexible structure. So the company, if they're looking for a specific, skill set, suppose they need a, fashion designer to work with, fashion graphics. Probably in the process, we'll guide them at the last moment. But a professional portfolio always, allow the students to compile all the work from very beginning till the end in Pearl Academy's, study together as a professional portfolio.
I think also, Umesh, if I can add on to that, a portfolio should talk about who you are and what are your beliefs and what are your philosophy around the subject. And accordingly to who you are, then the students is able to identify whom they want to go and work for. So that's something that goes very well hand in hand in a professional portfolio. And also, then it's not just the portfolio is only one part. They also should be able to create an image around themselves that talks about who they are, that again goes hand in hand with what they have been able to create during their course of studies. So it's a compilation of works that really defines who you are, what you believe, what you love. And accordingly, we are supporting students to identify the right placement for them. For those who want to go, you were mentioning also working abroad, it depends. There are people who might physically want to move abroad and work from there, and there are people who can work on freelance. Like to give an example, I still have my clients, and I still do some freelance jobs from when I was in Thailand. I lived in China, I lived in Europe. So, you know, that you don't always have to be in the place. I think technology is helping us also in that you don't always have to be in that place, but it's important that you are good in understanding whom you should go to work for. And I think when the students choose a place for their internship, that is extremely important. That's why one of the modules that we run, that Prasanna was mentioning, is called Brands Mood. Brands Mood allow the students to understand different perspective of different brands. We mentioned, for example, different option. We mentioned Zara, and then on the opposite side, we mentioned Judy, which are completely opposite. So students should be able to understand that the fashion industry has different aspects, and which one is the one that they feel more comfortable with. They should never go and work for a person they don't believe into their brand philosophy.
Right. So when you're talking about teaching fashion design at Pearl, what all are included? Does shoe design include in fashion design, or jewelry included in fashion design?
No, because we do have jewelry design and we also have accessory design. But as I mentioned earlier, we have different schools. So if it's jewelry design, will belong to School of Design. And if it's shoes and bags, belongs to product design. Now, the reason why it's not part of a fashion design course is because that the kind of materials they're working with and the kind of tools that the students are using are different than the one utilized from a fashion designer, for example. But we have had the students who are, for example, we have had the students who have studied fashion design, and we had students who have studied textiles, and we had students who have done styling, who are currently running very successfully their accessory lines. So I think what is important for us is that the students is exposed to a good process and is exposed to lots of industry connection. Also, as Prasanna mentioned earlier, we have something which is called open labs. So every semester we offering students 2 open labs of the amount of 2 weeks, where students can actually explore a subject which belongs to other schools. So for example, if you have fashion design students who want to understand more about the leather product and bags, maybe that students can take an open lab with the design school, so that you know, you can investigate that area also. But the reason why we don't teach accessory also into our course, it's because the entire system is slightly different. Uh, from the starting from the design, from the sketching part to the rendering to the kind of material and equipment, industrial machinery that they will have to use. But yes, if somebody wants to specialize in something in specific, which as a fashion designer and also want to explore other areas of the industry, we easily allow that to happen.
Right. So Anika is asking, does studying architecture gives an advantage before fashion design? So what her question is, should a student be studying architecture and then going to fashion design, or can they directly go into fashion design at bachelor's level?
I don't think there is a need to study architecture before fashion design. I mean, I'll give you an example. There are many architects who are actually fashion designers, but you don't have to study architecture to then become a fashion designer, because they're two different areas. If you have interest in architecture, maybe again, the kind of material and the final product that you will work for, it's completely different. So I mean, if you've done architecture and you want to take a PG in fashion design, that's also possible. But it's not you have to enroll into a fashion design course. It's not required.
Right. So a couple of questions to Vaishali. So Vaishali, participants wants to understand which is your Instagram handle, because there are a couple of them that are coming up, that showing up in Google. Which is the one they need to follow?
My official Instagram is Vaishali S Studio.
All right. Okay. So that is Vaishali S Studio.
Yes.
And how are you keeping yourself engaged during this lockdown?
Uh, so I have, first of all, I'm really enjoying this whole process of rebirth. I see the nature, how treating us, because it's for a designer or for a creative person, I think this is the right time to learn, you know, how nature teaching us to, it's so powerful. And, you know, I see this way when we treat children like who is not listening, and we try to give them directions, don't do this, but still the kid is not listening, then we have to we have to be strict little bit. So the whole process of the nature I'm enjoying, because I think this is the right time to learn and revive yourself in all the processes.
Right.
So yeah, a lot of learning from the nature, from like going within, and the process of design and everything. I'm planning future projects definitely, because if I'm trying to support weavers, of course I have to give them work also. So planning my new projects for the future.
Right. And Alan wants to know your proud moments in this journey.
Proud moments. I think for me, each step was like learning process, and whatever new thing I was learning, that was proud moment. Because for me, when I left my house, that time what I was not I was not able to even talk. You know, I have learned how to talk. Forget about any language, you know, how to form a sentence in even my local language also. So when I have started talking, that was like proud moment. Okay, I can do this. And then after that, I've explored different areas. So when I've learned fashion designing, when I've learned weaving, when I've explored weaving, that was also like proud moment. And because I was not aware about cities, different cities, even, you know, when I was in Vidisha, in my town, I was aware about few cities. When I came to Bombay, it was like different world for me. And that was again proud moment, because I've explored something new. And then, of course, when I was not aware about India, like Bombay, Delhi, other cities, and then I've explored New York and Milan and this thing, and uh, yeah, these, I think each step of learning was a proud moment for me, in exploring new things.
Right. So one attendee wants to know um, the difference between a theme board or a mood board. So I'm not sure if you use that in your process. Okay, so
I think, of course, I've learned these things. I've used also these things, but I think Prasanna and you can explain this thing better than me. Theme board and mood board.
yes, Prasanna, if you can, please.
Perfectly. I think, you know, theme board and mood board is the initial, you know, starting point for a fashion designer to follow this design process. So when you create a mood board, that mood board talks about the whole mood. You know, after completion of the collection, it will look like a happy mood, or it will talk about very serious thing. It is formal looking, casual looking. You'll get a little hint of the color scheme what you're going to follow, right? And when a designer creating a theme board, they're putting all the inspiration together as a theme board, you know, also called as a, you know, concept board sometimes. So whatever inspiration they have in terms of colors, silhouette, surface, they'll put all the, you know, the information together as one board. So that is the basic difference between theme board and mood board. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think I just remembered what I think I can say specific proud moment because I was thinking after talking. So proud moment when I saw, the weave, the khand, when I was looking khand fabric, which I have seen wearing these vegetable vendors, and I have seen the same weave on New York Fashion Week ramp and then New York Times. I felt like, okay, now I feel I'm doing something, at least something is happening. So that was definitely a proud moment for
Very
me.
true. Very true. So, Vaishali, you have you have popularized an unknown weave,
Mhm.
right?
Yes.
So now I guess a lot of designers must be using it.
I'm sure. I think I have started exploring weaves. That time, no one was doing it because
Mhm.
that was passion. I was amazed about this whole thing, like how many weaves and how many techniques and how many tradition and culture are there in India. So it was, for me, it was all about the culture and tradition, because whenever I do even my shows, I mix everything from that region. I record live music from that region. I will try to mix up with the dance and everything. So yes.
Yeah. So um, an attendee is asking, as a small town girl, were you scared moving to new areas and taking up these new experiences and all that? How did you encounter that new feeling? Generally there'll be a fear of doing something new, right? So how did you overcome that?
I think because I was in Vidisha, it was very limited exposure. And one journalist asked me this question, like, because you left your house and you went to other city, uh, like anything can happen with anyone in this situation when you are alone in the night or anything. So my answer was like, maybe. I've never thought about negative things. I've never thought something wrong will happen with me. So maybe that was the thing. But again, I will say I think I was the lucky for that thing. Uh, it's not necessary if you're leaving and you're going alone somewhere. Uh, Something will not happen with you. So that fear was not there because the doing something different feeling was so strong inside. I've never thought about like something wrong can happen with me, and I was just going with the flow. Whatever was coming into my path, I was just following that.
Right.
Yes.
And and I'm sure there must be some circumstances where you wanted to get certain things done and they were not happening. Okay. So I'm relating this to one of the questions an attendee has asked. She's asking, what do we do if you don't get internship after graduation? I think that is the first question that pops up in a student's mind. But as they proceed in their journey, there are so many such hurdles
Hmm.
they one will have to encounter. So
Hmm.
how would you address those issues?
I think we should keep trying. Nothing is impossible. Because I can give my example. If I see, I was even, uh, I was not confident. I was not even able to talk in any language. So I think nothing is impossible. If you are after studying, after graduation, I don't think so anyone can stop you or anything can stop you. You should keep trying. If something is not happening, maybe you are not putting your 100% in that. Maybe, and you should try next. Something will definitely happen. It's not possible. If you're trying your best, things will not happen.
Right.
Yeah.
So we are getting close to our end of the session. Okay. There are a couple of more questions. One question is related to the process of Pearl admission. Okay. I think the process of Pearl admission can be addressed. Would you like to address now, Prasanna or Marizu?
Maurizio, can go ahead.
Yeah. So first, I think the very first step of the process is probably either download our app or go to our website, and then in one way or another one, they'll get connected to a counselor. And the next step that we really care about it is that the students and the parents are making the right choice. So for that, we're running an aptitude test to understand whether the students really want to do that career. Then we have an exam, and then we also have one interview with the student. Because something that we strongly believe is that we really want passionate students. So we have a very long conversation with them, try to understand what is it that motivates them to do this design career more than any other design career, why they want to do it with us. We're giving them a good, I would say, counseling session, also to understand whether we are or not the right platform for them. And accordingly, then the students get to enroll to our course. For the Bangalore campus in specific, we have opened one experience center that at the moment, unfortunately, due to the current situation, we are not able to actually run it. But I'm sure that Sanungita can share on the chat the contact of the person they should get in touch with from the counseling team, and then they can easily approach any one of us and discuss with us in details all the entire process of admission.
So just to add to what Maurizio has just said, we have an experience center on Residency Road. We are working out of the WeWork office on Residency Road. I will share the details with you, Dion. You can share it with your students. So once this lockdown is lifted, we'll be contactable there. I'll also give you the number of our counselor, Rachel, whom you can talk to for anything you need. You can share my number with your students. Anything to do with with Pearl Academy or Bangalore campus, please contact us. We'll put you onto the right person and solve your problems, solve your queries. Anything to do with Pearl Academy and Bangalore campus. Yeah. Uh,
Yeah.
so we would look forward to students, talking to meeting us once this opens, and we'll be really happy to take them through what Pearl is all about and what we do at Pearl.
Right. So can you just let the audience know where is Bangalore campus located?
The Bangalore campus is coming up on Residency Road, right next to the WeWork office on Residency Road. So if you know the Samsung Experience Center, we are the building right next to it on Residency Road. We are 5 minutes away from the MG Road metro station, extremely centrally located. The building is there. We just have to outfit it internally to kind of suit us. Yeah. So thank you so much for putting this up for me, Dion.
You're
Uh,
welcome. You're welcome.
Right.
yeah. So
Okay.
this is where we are, and if you speak to Rachel, Rachel is our counselor. She will definitely be help you sort any issues out. Reach out to any of us, and we are there. And once this lockdown is open, we'll all be at the campus. We will be there.
Right.
So yeah,
Right.
so that's where we are, and it's a big white building. If you go on Residency Road, it's a huge white building. The shell is there, but the internal part is being redone to modify it for our labs and stuff like that.
Okay. All right. So I would like to take this moment to thank every one of you. Thank you so much, Vaishali, Maurizio, Prasanna, Sangyogita, and Harish and Dion for being here and making this session possible. And I really hope all the participants had a great opportunity to meet up with industry professionals, those who have achieved something really magnanimous in their life, and you have got the first-hand experience of listening to them and taking all the inputs from them. All right. So we are planning to organize more such sessions every Sunday, hopefully. Right. So please be on touch. Please follow us on Facebook and Instagram to get more information. Okay. And Dion, over to you.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks a lot, Umesh, and thanks a lot to the entire Pearl team, and of course, Vaishali. It was a brilliant and inspirational uh, discussion with you, and I hope that a lot of students here are inspired by your story and follow you as well in whatever you do. Okay. Um, to the rest of you over here, I'm getting some thank yous from Shilpi. Thank you, Shilpi, for your message there. For the rest of you, please do follow us on Facebook and Instagram. All our updates are there. We have these free design sketching classes, which anyone, it's open to anyone from the grandmother to your grandchild. Anybody can just be this. We're here to promote the love for art and the love for design. Okay, so all the best to everybody here, and thank you so much. Stay home and stay safe.
Thank you, Dion. Thank you, Umesh, for giving us the opportunity. Thank you, Vaishali.
Thank you
Great
so much.
hearing your journey. It's really, really inspirational. Thanks, Maurizio. Thanks, Prasanna. I think it's really nice to hear you guys talk and sort out issues with students. Thank you so much, Harish, for organizing this whole setup for us and being patient with us. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you. And thank you all attendees as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vaishali.
Thank you so much. Thank you for this.
Thanks, Prasanna. I can see you.